This is a technical note on the carrier or CVN tow into Changi Naval Base. Example simulations are shown in the time domain using OrcaFlex. We simulate a carrier passing through the gate between the barriers at about 4 knots. The carrier is under its own power. It has minimal assistance from tugs. Currents can be up to 2 knots from the east or west. One current condition is shown in this simulation, and a wind of 30 knots is shown from the northeast. There are an infinite number of possible solutions. I'm going to present one here. In a previous study a couple of months ago, we showed that you could bring the carrier into the harbour with tugs alone. We were told to use 4 tugs, and we were looking at currents up to 4 knots in directions from the east or west, and wind speeds of 20 and 30 knots from the northeast and from the southwest, as shown by the green arrow. We presented all these load cases for various different directions that the carrier could be facing when it was brought in by the tugs. Next, we're going to show how the carrier could maneuver into the harbour with assistance from just one tug using its own power. This is the OrcaFlex example simulation. It's paused at the moment. In the plan view in the top we see the carrier here. In the plan view with a line drawing we see the carrier and we see its trail that it's left during the whole simulation. And down in this screen we see the carrier in a perspective view just entering the screen, and I'll start the simulation replay. So now we see it running about 10 times faster than normal speed, and the carrier is coming into the picture. We see it moving up the middle screen there. The tug can be seen at the stern. The current is moving from east to west, so across the screen, indicated by this little blue arrow here. The wind is blowing from the northeast. Sorry, the current is moving west to east. The wind is blowing from the northeast, and the tug is needed to prevent the carrier being yawed around and traveling to the north. So the tug is continuously pulling the carrier around, with the carrier having a 0-degree rudder and just propelling itself straight. It starts off at 0 speed at this point in the simulation, and it settles down until at about the time it's entering the harbour through the gate. Its trajectory, its rotation here we see in the upper screen, has settled down and it's not changing heading any longer. Its forward speed had settled down. It's 2 meters per second or 4 knots, and its y velocity had settled down and its x velocity had settled down. So to recap or summarize, this technical note of the CVN tow into the Changi Naval Base shows just one simulation out of the many hundreds that could be performed with OrcaFlex, simulating the carrier passing through the gate at about 4 knots, under its own power, with minimal assistance, in this case from one tug. In this case the current was 2 knots from west to east, and the wind was 30 knots from the northeast. Many other simulations are possible, and a full bridge simulator could be considered. There is one operated by Swire in Singapore. That's the end of this presentation by Bill Stewart, Trust and Technology.